Hi, everybody. My name is Will Berger. I'm here with Restart.Run at the College Football 26 preview event down at EA Orlando, EA Tiburon. And I am with
Christian McLeod, production director on college football.
Excellent. Christian, I have a bunch of questions for you, and I'm very grateful for you for taking the time. So I wanted to start off with some just kind of tips and tricks stuff because I know a lot of people are going to be picking up college football for the first time in many years, and they're going to be like, "What do I do?" So I got to ask as a personal question: who's your go-to team? What do you like to do with them when you sit down to play this game?
So I am a Michigan State Spartans fan. I love my Spartans. Love Aiden Childs. Love Nick Marsh out there. I think what I love most about Michigan State is a lot of ace formation, ace sets. Not necessarily a spread team. They run the ball. They run the ball angry. So Michigan State's my squad. But when I'm playing competitive, I like to roll out a little Georgia every now and then. Some of the higher elite teams at times.
Makes sense. So this is kind of a follow up to that, and this answer I imagine would be different. What team are you most excited from? Just like we have them in the video game. This is a team people can play, and like maybe they do something really cool with their playbook or unique with their roster.
Yeah, I think somebody I'm really excited about is Delaware being in the game for the very first time. Missouri State is in their game as well. Brand new teams, even though as a Michigan State fan, I'm not a huge fan of the winged helmet that Delaware has, but they've got so many interesting offensive sets. Just always great to see new schools in the game, much like Kennesaw State last year. So I think Delaware would be mine, just specifically around the offense that they're running. It's really unique, new formations into the game, so they're a ton of fun to play with.
Absolutely. So I have to ask you, if you were building like a super team of like, these are the players I could put on my offense and defense, who would you pick?
That's actually a really great question. I think I like John Mateer. I like Cade Klubnik at quarterback. I love my guy Aiden Childs at Michigan State. Wide receiver has got to be Nick Marsh. Love Nick Marsh at Michigan State, of course. Defensively, there's a lot of really good players. I think, just LSU defensively, pretty much every kid on that team is a monster. Love your SEC schools, Alabama, of course, Georgia, always good. So not really singling anybody out, but I think those SEC defenses are pretty stout.
Excellent.
No offense to my Big Ten schools out there, which I love. So,
of course not. I actually wanted to get into some of the stuff that y'all showed because you showed us so much, and every time I said this to you before the interview, every time you were like, we're doing this, and we were all just sitting back, yes. So one of the first things you guys talked about was dynamic time of day. Can you talk to us about that, how that works, how that's going to affect the way the stadiums look and the way the crowds behave and on all that fun stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Something we're really excited about this year is around dynamic time of day. It was one of the number one most requested features from our users coming out of College Football 25. And our art team does an amazing job. We really look to innovate. So not only do we have dynamic time of day, we also added the fact that the dynamic time of day will change based on the region that you're in. So 6 o'clock at Chestnut Hill is going to be completely different than 6 o'clock in Boston in terms of the lighting there. And then on top of that, we want to take it one step further and get a little crazier. Within Dynasty mode, it actually changes based on season. So if you're at Notre Dame in November, it is going to be much darker at 3:30 at Notre Dame November versus going into South Bend at, say, August, at the tail end of summer. So again, we're just super excited about that. One of the stories that we tell often is as we got that system working, I was playing a game at Oregon and just seeing the light kind of coming over Autzen Stadium, I believe it's the south end zone, and seeing it reflect on the helmets. And then by the next quarter, it was now a bit of a dusk. And then it went to the nighttime in the third quarter. Just a really awesome atmosphere. It made the game feel really different. We're really excited about it.
And it looks great based on what you've shown us. Another big thing, and I think this is something that everyone is going to feel, right, is the idea of career wear and tear over a player's entire career, right? Because, last year it was kind of like you manage it week to week, you manage it over the course of maybe a season, and then you are back. So talk to us about how different that is and how you go about managing, maybe a workhorse back.
Yeah, a big piece for us in every mode that we have in the game is around a meaningful decision, whether that's in Road to Glory, whether that's in Dynasty. And part of those meaningful decisions is how do you utilize your player and your player's health? Last year we implemented wear and tear, really something that went over well with the community that we were very excited about, but it really did only function on a week-to-week basis. This year we're implementing what we're calling season health. And what that means is that you really have to pay attention to that wear and tear, because that wear and tear is going to add up season over season. So if you have that workhorse back that you're giving the ball to 30 times a game, they may get dinged up as the season goes along. That's going to impact how they show up for their sophomore season, their junior season. You need to manage that. You have to be utilizing one of our other new features with our dynamic substitutions, taking those players out of the game, giving them a rest, unless they've got the high abilities that mitigate the wear and tear damage on them. So again, something really interesting there of how do you compose your lineup? What are the types of kids that you're recruiting? How are you playing on a game-by-game basis? All of these meaningful decisions sort of add up into what we like to call that unsolvable puzzle of our dynasty modes and our road to glory mode.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you mentioned the real-time subs, because that's actually the next thing I was going to ask you. Because when you all talked about that, I was sitting there like, I have wanted this for as long as I can remember. And I actually got to play with it a little bit before we did this interview. And it feels awesome. It's so immediate, and it gives you so much control. Can you please give us more detail?
Oh, absolutely. So in the past, you would have to sub players off by going into the pause menu and then going and finding the coaching adjustments and the depth chart. And you're 3-4 clicks deep into the experience at that point. Mm-hmm. Now on pre-play, you're able to hit up on the directional pad. That brings up a list of all of your starters, all the players in the game right now. There's hotkeys very similar to other sports games out there that allow you to bring all your starters in or just focus on specific positions. And you can see their wear and tear damage. You can see how that's affecting their OVR and quickly make the substitution for them right there and then. So the next play, a new player's coming in with fresh legs. I think what's really cool about that is you start to add that into another one of our new features with formation subs, and you get a lot of really dynamic interactions going on with all of your roster management there. Mm-hmm. So again, meaningful choice across the board, but also a lot of user functionality improvements there as well. So you don't have to go searching 5 or 7 levels deep into a menu.
Yeah, as someone who, the way back when I first started playing these games, I was overwhelmed by the menus. And I think you guys have done a great job of just kind of easing people in, making it more accessible. I want to do this when I'm on the field. Speaking of kind of on the field, although I guess they're not technically directly on it, coaches.
100%. We have real coaches in the game this year. Super excited. We have over 300 total coaches. Those are head coaches, offensive coordinators, and defensive coordinators. Obviously, as College Football 25 came out, our focus was to ensure that the players' NIL was in the game. After that, right, our goal was always to get the coaches in. It's so awesome. We've got great partnerships with a number of coaches out there. So awesome to see them be a part of the game. But as part of that, their unique skill sets come into play as well with some of their schemes and formations, so that when you're playing against Texas, you are truly trying to outwit Steve Sarkisian out there in his offense. So there's a whole new level of nuance there that's really exciting for us that we're pretty proud of.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really appreciated you guys talking about was kind of the way you've revamped the coaching, for lack of a better word, like talent trees, the way that you manage, how you upgrade your coach over time and force them to specialize. And I thought it was really interesting when you guys talked about specialization and building your coach the way you want to be. And it's a little harder now. So can you talk about that?
Oh, 100%. So last year we went in with a RPG type mechanic, a game that we all love to play as Gauntlet. I'm old. I love going back to the 80s. And in that game, you could be the barbarian, you could be the elf, or you could be the wizard. And what we really wanted to make sure of was that you can't be good at everything. You can't be the barbarian that can take a bunch of hits, but then can also use magic at the same time. But maybe you can hybridize in something where you can throw a dagger or an axe as that player. So as we looked at the coaching skills last year, what we ran into was the balance just wasn't there. We were finding a lot of users being able to sort of spread their points between the 3 base archetypes that we had. Mm-hmm. So this year, as part of our spider graph and our new tuning and a lot of our new coach skills, we wanted to make sure that if you're choosing the recruiter as an example, you're really having to spend time and effort and coach points to get out of recruiter or that side of the spider graph. You can hybridize in the recruiter side, but if you want to go tactician, if you want to go to the motivator, that's going to cost you higher levels, and it's also going to cost you more coach points. So, that plus reconfiguring where all of the, or many rather, of the coach skills live was super important for us to just provide a better game balance, but also increase the level cap from 50 to 100 to allow users to really build what they want to build.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think it's interesting that people are going to have to kind of decide between jack of all trades and specialization.
Yep.
Last question. There is so much to talk about, and I wish we had more time, but is there anything that you or the team are really proud of that players might not notice immediately that's going to have a huge impact on the way the game feels or is played, or like just kind of connects with them?
Hey, that's a really awesome question, a tough question, because we're really pumped up about a lot of it. You look at Dynasty, there's so many improvements to Dynasty. There's so many just core mechanics that have been polished up, quality of life pieces. You look at Road to Glory, something we're really excited about is the recruiting experience in Road to Glory. We could spend 30, 40 minutes talking about just that alone. But then on the gameplay side, so many pieces of gameplay from quarterback awareness to quarterback height mattering and being able to see over the line to all new skills that are part of the game. We're just really excited about this game in general. We can't wait for people to get their hands on it because we feel like we've made a lot of big advancements from College Football 25.